Okay, this is a tutorial on beginning to use Truss Physics. So this is right from the very beginning to get somebody started who's struggling and a bit frustrated with setting up Truss soft body physics. Okay, so this isn't to do with how to model. That's you'll have to find that tutorial somewhere else. So I've already done what I'm going to use, which is a vase. So go into my models, vase. There it is. Okay, and what I do make sure with all truss, just because of not cause any problems, is that all my models are positioned 0, 0, 0, 0x, 0y, 0z, perfect in the center. The pivot's in the center. There's no scale, no rotations. Import it in, export as an OBJ file format object. So here we are. On the left is the vase. So open it up and it has my truss model with it, which is a low poly count version there, which again is 0, 0, 0 on the position, no rotation, no scales, in the middle. So first thing you need to do is you don't need to visually see the truss object. So it's called vase truss. So turn off mesh rendering so you can just see the vase, your objects. Okay, now so the vase truss is still up there. It's all part of the asset, if you like. So go back to vase 01, which is your mesh renderer. Go up to edit, Truss Physics, add component, soft body. There it is, soft body. And then what you want to do is just check all the settings on the main menu they're okay. See, but there's no scaled mass, so it needs to have mass. It's got to have some mass, otherwise I think it just flies off. But before anything, it needs a truss object. Oh, so that's why it hasn't got a scaled mass. Sorry. So you need to create a truss asset. So go up to edit, Truss Physics, create asset, TX truss. Boom, there it is down there. Rename it to whatever you want. Vase truss. Okay, go back to the object up here and click on it. I'll do that like that. Vase truss, go into vase truss, drag it over into the truss part there. Right, scaled mass 0. So we need to give our object some kind of mass. So go into edit. This is the important part that you need to grasp with Truss Physics, is the designer. So click edit to enter the designer. There it is there. We're in the designer. First thing, you're in the truss part. It's in sections, truss, nodes, links and faces. The most important ones is truss, nodes and links. I haven't really found any use of faces yet, but I'm sure there is. Truss, first thing, you need to create from mesh. Click create from mesh and locate that object up there, the vase truss, in the list. So you need to go down to V, wherever your truss object is. V, vase truss. There we go, there it is. Double click it. Now, because everything's centered, I know it's going to be perfect. So if you click nodes, there it is. All in exactly the right place. I found if you don't zero all the XYZ coordinates or the rotations, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. It will be over here, or it will be on its side, or whatever, and you've got to rotate it. And anyway, this is the perfect way of doing it, to avoid any problems. So there we go. We've got the nodes are there. They showed that the truss is loaded. So first, give it some mass. A node mass of every single node, it'll be 62. We don't want it 62. That'll be like 62 kilos. So 0.1, 6 kilos. That's still quite heavy. 0.5. 3 kilos. Now this is off on the fly, so when I hit play and there's problems, I've got to fix them for the tutorial. So I don't know if this is all going to work straight off. So if there's a problem, I've got to fix it and show you how to fix it. So we've set the nodes. Now if you want to change any of the link settings, you have your spring stiffness, spring dampening, deformation and stretching limit. Usually those figures are pretty good. They're pretty good. Don't really need to, but once you are finished with the designer, okay, you have to click edit this exits the designer, and I don't know the technical sides of it, but I assume it's, well, basically what it does is it saves out, it closes the design, it saves out everything you've done. And you have to come out of the designer, because if you've got multiple objects in your scene which is using the same truss, say there's like 15 vases, and they all use the same truss, if you don't exit the editor, it will not save the details for all the other objects in your scene. So it's always a good idea to close the editor, and you know it's closed because you get the yellow links. Okay, so edit, links go away, edit again, that's when you know you've edited it. And you've come out of the editor because the links have gone yellow. That's it. That's pretty much it. I don't know if my camera's set up to view it. Hang on. See what I mean? I'm setting nothing up. No, it's looking at my car. Move it over to the vase. Rotate it. There it is. Move it up. Probably too close. That's right up in the air. Oh, that'd be interesting to watch it splat on the floor. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay. Not a lot happened, but it worked. Yes, it worked. I want to see it sort of like, crunch or something like that. So let's play with it and maybe give it more mass. That might do something. Nodes, increase the mass to like 60 kilos. That's ridiculous like that. 60 kilos. Edit again, click edit, come out, play. Still didn't do much. But there you go. Basically it's a very solid shape truss object. It's it doesn't deform, doesn't need to deform. I suppose I could get it to do something funky by making the links less rigid, just so that you can see a visual, make the stiffness less and the dampening less or something, elastic deformation maybe 0.02, I don't know. Once done that, edit, and let's see if anything's happened now. I still don't like where that camera is. Let's see it's happened now. Let's see what happens. There we go. So because I decreased the elasticity of the, it's made it less rigid. Probably a little bit too much. So put the links back to a bit more like that. Edit out the editor. There we go. It's collapsing on itself. So then it's my job then, and your job, to add extra links inside, but that's a separate tutorial all over. Don't forget, in the guide, in this tutorial, you have to give the your ground a mesh collider here, and a TX static body for your object to collide into. But they're all in the examples anyway. I just thought I'd give you a tutorial on how to set the truss object up. And that's it.